Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Need to get a couple things straightened out because I'm going to share the scores. We're going to talk all through a lot of these games here. So those of you who are showing up in the chat, appreciate it. Week 5 in the books, or almost in the books. Colorado and BYU are playing, and it's probably the last top 25 game. Colorado's up 21-17, late third, but some really, really, really important, massive games this weekend, right? Starting with last night, right? Virginia upsets number 8 Florida State in Charlottesville. We see probably the fastest field storming I've ever seen. I don't think we've ever seen a faster field storm than we saw there, but Mike Norvell, that whole group, they go down. Then TCU goes down in a really good game to Arizona State. So last night we already had some shakeup. Then we get into this morning, and as I talked about on Open Gym, I was on Open Gym Friday afternoon with Patrick Davis on Texas Sports Unfiltered. We previewed the weekend. I said I was worried about USC playing an 11 a.m. game. They've been playing well under Lincoln Riley, but they hadn't really been super tested. I didn't consider Michigan State a test for them. They go to Illinois and lose. So, you had that whole situation in the morning games, the first slot, right? And then I told people I was high on Notre Dame versus Arkansas today. I thought Arkansas, I said the Memphis game, they broke them, and they ended up getting obliterated today. They were booed off the field at halftime. Sam Pittman, I've continued to say, by the time Texas plays, because I want to react to this as Texas fans, what is our perspective after all of today's events? I'm going through the speed recap, okay? But as the AP poll resets, as some of the matchups and where people fall, people that have now taken their first L, as things start to reset, where does Texas fall? How do you now feel about Texas going into SEC play? We've seen some big time SEC games today. So not just from a perspective across the country, but also a perspective across the SEC, right? Gaddis said, "I'm feeling much better." I do too. I feel confident. I feel confident. But yeah. So let me actually just go ahead and get over here right now because I think it'll be good to kind of just go through these. So we'll just do the top 25. Where do I want to go? The Georgia Tech game, I had to sweat that out because I had Georgia Tech outright in every freaking parlay, and I had to sweat that out. I hit up my boy that's a Georgia Tech fan. I was like, "What is this?" I ended up doubling down on a bet, which I normally don't do. I'm normally pretty disciplined, but I ended up doubling down on a bet to when Georgia Tech was down by 3 scores in that game, and they ended up winning in overtime because Wake Forest went for it for the 2-point conversion and didn't get it. So I ended up being very, very fortunate there. The referees, the ACC referees, were atrocious in that game and completely robbed Wake Forest. This kid went off sides on 3rd and 5 when Georgia Tech had no more timeouts. The game would have been over in regulation, and they completely missed it. So, yeah. Anyway, donations. Quentin, brother, what's up? Donations. SEC offensive opt-outs. What you mean by that? Yeah, there was a lot of overtime this weekend. What do you mean opt-outs? Just maybe I'm not tracking. But yeah, Getting into Notre Dame. I was talking about Notre Dame, Arkansas. Arkansas is cooked. Arkansas is cooked. Their only form of offense is Taylor Green being a superhero running around. They have a generationally bad defense, like really, really, really bad defense. And once Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame started to find some stuff defensively because they kind of lost their edge. And I said this too. Notre Dame, I think, was underrated going into today because they did A&M. Now A&M played as well as they probably could have when they went to South Bend. And then today we saw the backside of A&M was shitty today. They got lucky and won. We'll get to A&M. Because A&M didn't even look well coached today against another bad coach. It was a battle of two terrible coaches, it seemed like. And Elko coming out of Notre Dame, and Elko so far, I've never considered Elko like that. I don't know what the hell today was, especially coming off a bye week. But we will get to A&M. We will get to that A&M Auburn game. That was a nasty football game. LSU Ole Miss was a little bit better played, but not by much. So my quad screens for the 230 piece was really dope. What's up, Dimple Wonder? I'm gonna get to you. Let me say this, and then I'm gonna get to your super chat, brother. My quad screens for the 230s piece was Ohio State, Washington. I had A&M Auburn. I had LSU Ole Miss, and then I had Tennessee Mississippi State. Tennessee Mississippi State was the funnest game of today in terms of 4 quarters, full blown track meet, good offenses. Granted, I wouldn't say that. I'll actually say Alabama Georgia was the best game today because I saw high level play on both sides of the ball. Whereas Tennessee Mississippi State was really an offensive track meet. I expected it to be a track meet. I had taken the over on those points, which was, I believe, 63 and a half. And they also went to overtime in Starkville. Jeff Lebby versus Josh Heupel. They both run that bear and shoot. They both want to run tempo. They both got track guys, and they were throwing the pill up and down the field, running the pill up and down the field. That game was exactly what I thought it was going to be, but it was a lot of highlights in that game too. A lot of highlights in that Tennessee Mississippi State game. It was crazy. A&M Auburn was a mess, especially the second half. The penalties, the sloppiness, the lack of execution that was bad football. Dimple Wonder, anyway, thank you for the donation. Feeling better about our outlook. If Texas looks good against Florida, I will be fully excited again. Bama owns Georgia. Yes, they do. Bama does own Kirby's kryptonite continues to be Alabama even after Nick Saban's gone. Kirby, Bama ends up winning 24-21. I thought Georgia showed a lot of heart tonight and was able to battle back. There was some really suspicious officiating in that game as well. I didn't agree with that the targeting situation and whatever happened at the end. But Alabama, and I got to give Kalen DeBoer a lot of credit. They were ready to play. They came out there. That's what I want my team to look like when they go on the road, was how Alabama looked today. Alabama was executing everything. The quarterback was calm. He wasn't flustered. Ty Simpson gets a lot of credit today. He was calm. He handled his business at the line of scrimmage. He was decisive in setting his protections. The comms with his offensive line. Texas fans, we know we've been talking about the comms with our O-line. This is what we need to see when we go to the swamp and they can't hear. And the comms are a little shaky. Dante Moore, Oregon, same thing. Poise, composure. When shit is dirty, how do you respond? Both of those quarterbacks went on the road and led their teams to victories against top 10 opponents. both Dante Moore and Ty Simpson. Dante Moore and Ty Simpson showed composure. They handled their business pre-snap at the line of scrimmage. And Alabama's defense did start out looking good. I know I look like an idiot. People were bashing me on Twitter because I was like, this is the Bama defense I expected. They started getting cooked in the run game. Like Georgia started running all over them later in the game. But to start the game, they were not looking like trash defensively. And they did cause that fumble on Nate Frazier as well. But I mean, Alabama, think about even after the big Ryan Williams drop, like he dropped. By the way, people talking about offenses. Yeah, the offenses are struggling right now. I've been kind of on this. If you listen to me, I've been kind of on this telling y'all that the Lincoln Riley stuff, like stuff has changed from 5 years ago when we were in COVID. And people were just RPOing everybody to death and tossing the pill around and doing all this type of stuff. And like defenses have changed. There's more hybrid defenders. You know who looked really good defensively today? And this actually helps Texas' case? Ohio State. Ohio State looked really good today. People aren't going to be blown away impressed because they won 24-6 at Washington. That going to Seattle against Damon Williams and that Washington offense is not an easy task. And Ohio State's defense shut that shit down. Like, and on top of that, Julian Sand looked good and like Ohio State looked. They impressed me. I watched them a lot today. Ohio State impressed me. I think was that Julian Sand's first road trip? Was that his first road game? I mean, people should. That's going to be the thing we got to look for when we see Arch next week, right? Does he, even when things are not going well, Dante Moore, everything was not perfect for Dante Moore tonight. There was adversity. It was 3-3 at halftime. Everything was not perfect. I'm not saying Arch has to go to Florida and be perfect, but be poised. And don't look overwhelmed. And it's okay. Like, we are going to manage this game. Now, today, Ty Simpson came out hot. Ty Simpson came out throwing dots on Alabama. But Dante Moore and DeCorian Moore, shout out to the brother DeCorian Moore, the one that got away. God damn it, he's good. That kid is good, man. DeCorian Moore is the goods. He was cooking all them Penn State DBs. Penn State talking about they about to have their first first round corners since, I guess, because Joey Porter Jr. didn't go in the first round, did he? I don't think Joey Porter Jr. went in the first round. So I don't know when's the last time Penn State had a first round corner. But DeCorian Moore, I think he's gonna cause those brothers to lose some money. He was cooking. There's a true freshman out there from Duncanville. He was cooking. Jackson Arnold. Let's bring you to the front of the table here, sir. What game y'all want to focus on? Let's focus on a game and then we'll go. Y'all want to talk about Auburn A&M? DeCorian Moore did not look like a freshman at all. Let me tell you why. Because it wasn't just like one or two big plays. It wasn't like highlights like Ryan Williams did in the Georgia-Bama game last year, where it was very high leverage. It's 3rd and 7, and we need you to get a beater over the middle. Or the 4th and 3 that he picked up, where he ran the crosser and shook the dude at the top of the route. Like, that's the type of stuff he was converting. Those were like NFL type downs that he was converting. Very, very mature, polished, all that. Anyway, DeCorian's the goods. But y'all want to focus on Auburn versus A&M? First off, I told you A&M was going to win. Now, I thought A&M was going to win comfortably. And by comfortably, I thought they would cover. I think the spread was 6.5 or 7. They ended up winning by 6. So comfortably, I meant they would cover. And by comfortable, like honestly, if you look at Concepcion getting missed for a wall, like when I say walk in Teddy, I'm talking about you got like 5-6 steps on the DB, and if it's a a proper throw, you're literally walking into the end zone. Like Concepcion was wide open. Marcel Reed almost throws the freaking thing out in the end zone. So they missed the touchdown there. I believe they missed 2 field goals. And the entire time they're playing most of the game A&M is with a 10-point lead. A&M is physically dominating the line of scrimmage. Auburn has nothing for them offensively. Jackson Arnold has the lowest football IQ and the worst pocket presence of any quarterback in the SEC. I'm not going to say the country because I haven't seen every quarterback play, but he's terrible. He's terrible. If that's the type of quarterback play that Hugh Freeze is going to put out there in 2 big ass games back to back, you might as well play Deuce Knight or one of these other or one of these young boys. He's worse than Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne would have won one of these games between OU and A&M. Peyton Thorne would have won one of those games. That's how bad Jackson Arnold is. He stinks. And the people are talking about, oh, the offensive line. I'm not saying that the offensive line is great for Auburn. That's not my point. But to give up, how many sacks did OU have last week? 12? A&M got 8 today. So it kind of makes you think, okay, in one hand, is OU's front that gassed up? Maybe not. If A&M just came back and did almost the same thing, they got 10. Okay, so they got 10 last week. A&M got 8 today. A&M hadn't been putting pressure on people like that. Even Utah State, UTSA, they weren't heating people up like that. That's the quarterback. Of those 8 sacks, how many of those were on Jackson Arnold? And this is the same thing I was saying last week, and I felt like I was screaming into a vacuum with OU. When I'm like, yo, everybody's gassing up OU getting 10 sacks, and I'm not saying OU's front, they are not dogs. That's not my point. There is as good as a group as you will see in college football up front. No doubt about it. The talent, all that speaks for itself. I'm not here to poo-poo on OU's front. Now, OU as a team is a different question. OU's front is legit. However, how many of those 10 sacks were on the quarterback? He sits there. The boy can't do math. Basic math. The boy, bro, they're sending Elko. Elko's sending the most basic heaters. Okay? We got 2 people coming from the edge. 4 down. That's 6. They got another dude coming from the other side. They sending 7 people. That means what? Let's do math. That means there's only 4 people in coverage. Where's my hot? I got at least 4 or 5 dudes going out for a route. Pick one. He looks so surprised every time he gets sacked, Jackson Arnold, that he is bewildered that somebody blitzed him. He can't believe that there's pressure. What do you think? Anybody that plays Auburn is just going to send heaters at the kid. So why keep at this point you have no plan for pressure. The difference between watching Jackson Arnold play quarterback pre-snap and watching Ty Simpson at Georgia play quarterback pre-snap and communicate with his offensive line and figure out, okay, what is our plan for pressure so I can get this ball out? There are more people coming than we have blocking. That's math. I cannot sit. If I get tackled with the football, that's on me. Because I didn't have a plan for pressure. Clearly, I didn't account for my hots. This is basic quarterback play. And he's wasting Ferraris over there. Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman, just wasting Ferraris. My God, that was bad football. It happened over and over. The boy was getting sacked on like 3rd and 1. I'm like, yo. And then A&M's like, hold my beer. They throw a pick. And granted, Marcel threw an awful ball to Terry Bussey, and then Terry Bussey dropped it. But you're running tunnel screen on 3rd and 1, bro, when you're trying to ace the game. Bro, exactly. Imagine on 4th and 13. Quinn's like, yeah, we good. You watch the 4th and 13 play. Quinn at least is talking. Like they're planning for the pressure. Quinn understands more people are coming than we have blocking, so I should have food downfield. I just need to get the ball out. That's basic quarterback play. Now, if they don't make a play on the ball, they don't make a play on the ball. But the ball can't sit back here. You know this. It's not like they're getting sacks with three down rushers and there's 8 people in coverage. That'd be a totally different thing. They're literally blitzing this guy. And he's legitimately surprised every single time they blitz. It's crazy. Ty Simpson's been around though. He's not. I don't think Ty Simpson's 10 times better than Arch. We'll see. I don't think he's 10 times better than Arch. Because if he was 10 times better than Arch, they wouldn't have lost to Florida State like that. Now, it wasn't on him. Ty Simpson was there when Bryce Young was there. Think about that. Ty Simpson was there when Bryce Young was there. No, Simpson. First of all, nobody lost to UCF at Alabama. It was the South Florida game that they almost lost, and that was Tyler Buckner, who's now at Notre Dame. That was Tyler Buckner. Ty Simpson did get to play in that game, I think, but Tyler Buckner was the one that started. It was South Florida. And that was after Milroe played against us in 2023, got benched. They lied. Saban and them lied and said that he was hurt. They lied and said he was hurt. And then South Florida happened. And the next week, Jalen Milroe's our starter for the rest of the season, and the rest is history. And they go on to make the playoffs and win the SEC. That's what happened. Ty Simpson's class of 22, I believe. So he's a senior. He's not a super senior. He's a senior. He's the same class as like DJ Campbell and them. Ty Simpson was class of 2022. Because remember, we played Bryce Young in 2022. That was when. So when Alabama came to DKR in 2022, and they won. What was that game? Was it 20-19 or something like that? Whatever the score was, the game that Hudson Card finished. Quinn's freshman year. Ty Simpson was a true freshman then. So Ty Simpson's the same class as Cade Klubnik. That's the class that Ty Simpson is in. He's in the same class as Cade Klubnik. The thing is, he's an old school throwback where he didn't go anywhere. He didn't go anywhere. He just stayed. He stayed the course through Bryce. He stayed the course through Milroe because Milroe was 1 year ahead of him. Remember, Milroe was class of 2021 and was already Bryce's backup. And Ty Simpson, to his credit, did not transfer when Kalen DeBoer took over. And he didn't transfer when Julian Sand came. Remember, Julian Sand was there, and then Saban retired, and then Julian Sain went into the portal. So Ty Simpson stuck through all of it and developed and waited his turn. So he's been through a lot. He's seen a lot of ball. He's seen a lot of ball. And when he got his opportunity the first time, he didn't perform, which is why Jalen Milroe ended up taking the job back. But you see a guy he's been through it. I don't think Arch has been through the cycles like that, but Arch has been through a lot of adversity the last month. So we'll see. Now, this was Ty Simpson's second opportunity on the road from that Florida State game, night and day. So hopefully we see that type of composure from Arch on the road at Florida. I did watch the Oregon State Houston game, Malik Murphy versus Connor Weigman. Malik Malik's in a weird space because I don't think he's a bad quarterback by any means. I thought he was fine at Duke last year. Really did. I understood why Duke went for Mensa for what they wanted to do, and Mensa is better than Malik, objectively speaking. However, I did not like him going to Oregon State. But here's the flip side of that. Malik was supposed to go to Auburn. And then they took Jackson Arnold. Because remember, Jackson Arnold was going to go to Mississippi State with Levy. And then I don't know what happened there. I remember Jackson Arnold was just going to follow Jeff Levy to Mississippi State. And I remember Auburn was going to take Malik. And then I don't know. Malik at Auburn would be better than Jackson Arnold. Now he can't move and run the way Jackson does, but I don't know. I also know Malik is better at not just standing there, and he can do math better than Jackson can. Jackson sees 7 people coming. He thinks there's 7 people in coverage. It's crazy. Yeah, Malik would have been in a better space at Auburn. That was what they were trying to do. And then Auburn paid up for Arnold. And that's where he ended up. But they didn't factor in football IQ. He didn't leave. Hold on. I'm going to say this. Just from it wasn't Malik's choice to leave Duke. That wasn't Malik's choice. It was, hey, we about to go in a different direction and we have a chance to go get Mensa from Tulane. That's what that was. Malik was going to be a free agent regardless. Once they go look at how much money they paid for Darian Mensa, Duke did. Yeah, it wasn't Malik's. That was not his choice per se. The Oregon State thing, though, when you go and end up on a bad team, it's tough. Pavia is 35, playing teenagers. There's still some COVID guys out here, man. Blake Shapen, who lost today, that's a COVID quarterback. There's another one out there that I was thinking of. Oh man, what's his name? There was another COVID kid I saw. Was it in the early games? I mean, shit, Haynes King's a COVID guy. Calzada, no. Calzada started at A&M in 2019. There was another. Damn it, I can't think of it right now. Pavia better not come back. I'm done with him. Vanderbilt's good. They're having their fun. I respect it. But let's see. Colorado is now down 24-21. Vanderbilt's good. I respect it, but yeah, I'm done on that. On these COVID QBs. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. I can't think of it right now, but it'll come to me. Haynes King is a COVID quarterback. Let me check my phone. Maybe I texted it to somebody while I was talking. Oh, yesterday. Yes, got it. Yesterday, Chandler Morris is a COVID quarterback. Chandler Morris, Chandler Morris was at, I forgot Chandler Morris played for OU. He's been on 5 teams. Now, Calzada's the oldest one because Calzada was there. Calzada was at A&M before COVID. Calzada, I believe he even played with who's the one that had the high shoulders? Kellen Mond. Yeah, Kellen Mond, the brother with it used to look like that playing quarterback. Kellen Mond. Yeah. Calzada was there with him, but we've known that he's at Kentucky. Chandler Morris, when I saw him running around at Virginia, I did feel some type of way because I'm like, this dude's 25 years old. What are we doing? What are we doing? And Sheehan Kyler Murray over there on Florida State, Castellanos, he's old too. But he's not like Chandler Morris. Chandler Morris is old as shit. I'm like, bruh, this is how old Chandler Morris is, chat. Think about it this way. I'm gonna hit y'all with some shit. Chandler Morris is so old that he beat out Max Duggan and got hurt in that Colorado game, and Max Duggan took over and went to the national championship. That's how old Chandler Morris is. Chandler Morris had beaten out Max Duggan at TCU, was the opening day starter, got injured, didn't even lose his job because of performance, lost his job because of injury. Max Duggan came in there and takes TCU to the Natty before they got obliterated off the face of the earth by Georgia. That's how old Chandler Morris is. That was what, Quinn Ewers' freshman year? And at that point, Chandler Morris was in year 3. Was in year 3 at that point from OU. What are we doing? Why is that guy still hanging around college kids? What are we doing? Am I tripping? Am I the only one that feels some type of way about stuff like that? It was Chandler Morris. I don't know why I couldn't remember it. It was Chandler Morris, Virginia. I was over there like, big boy, I know that ain't who I think it is. Oh my goodness. John, how are you not? John, please put the trolling aside for 3 seconds. John, give me an objective analysis as best you can. First of all, you should take the win. Okay. Now, it's not going to be a ranked win. Obviously, I don't even know how Auburn's going to be viewed at the end of the season. They're 0-2 right now in the SEC. But for a team that's 4-0, for a team that's in the top 10, how are you satisfied with how your team performed today? With the amount of penalties, with how sloppy it was, the fact that Auburn still had the ball with a chance to win the game. How are you okay with that? How are you okay with the missed field goals and the continuous blunders that we saw from A&M today? A&M went. It felt like they were going out of their way to beat themselves today. And again, I'm John. I'm here to tell you, I thought your team could have won by 4 or 5 scores today, easy. But y'all were not locked in at all. So how can you sit up here? Please stop the trolling for 3 seconds and give me an honest response as a football guy. They definitely didn't have it. That's fair. That's fair. He said just because. Just, they did beat A&M last year. They beat them in overtime. They beat them in overtime. That was the reason why I thought they were going to win comfortably. I figured, okay, y'all lost to this team last year. They were one of the teams that ruined your season. This Auburn team that was ass. So that also speaks to my point about Peyton Thorne, by the way. Even Peyton Thorne was able to get a win against those guys. Y'all had a bye week after a huge win over Notre Dame. And I think the better that if Notre Dame continues to go up, because I like the way their offense is looking, that win will look sexier. It will. But to come back, like y'all look like 2 different football teams to me. Y'all look like 2 different football teams to me. I still like your weapons. I still love Craver. I love Concepcion. I love Terry Bussey. I'm happy the brother Ruben Owens looks like he's starting to get going. He looks explosive. Le'Veon Moss obviously is back and healthy. But something's up. I can't put my finger on it. And your coaching was suspect today. Your coaching the last 30 minutes of the game was egregiously bad. A&M. Y'all didn't help the kids whatsoever. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's a good win. Back-to-back wins over Notre Dame, Auburn, you take that. I'm not trying. I'm an objective. Objectively, I saw a whole bunch of Longhorn fans just automatically picking Auburn because they don't like A&M. Okay. But I said, yo, give me football reasons. Football reasons, I felt like A&M was clearly a way better team than Auburn, talent-wise. But something was up. I don't know. Something was up. And if Marcel Reed's not going to hit shots like that, y'all not going to beat us in Austin, bro. He's going to have to hit those shots. That's the whole point of having those receivers. There's no point. Like, Concepcion is awesome, dude, but you got to hit him. Can't be smoking those throws. I did not see Elko's post game. No, I didn't. Quick plug in while I was getting ready to watch Oregon, Penn State, and Alabama, Georgia. I ended up making some steaks for dinner tonight for my wife. And my buddy, he doesn't even know I'm doing this. This is completely just out of love for my boy. But my buddy started a barbecue company, and he makes dry rubs for meats and stuff. And so I used it today. My wife and I purchased it to support him. And it's called Jolly Q. It's my buddy Jonathan Jolly. It's called Jolly Q. Go check that out. I'll put the link in the video. But yeah, it was really good. Pine Street blend. This stuff's legit. I wouldn't promote it if, especially since me and him have the friendship that we argue with each other all the time. But I'll tell you what, them steaks turned out magnifico. And we had a great time watching the games tonight with our steaks, and that's what I used for the rub. But yeah, my boy Jolly Q. It's jollyq.shops. You can find it on Etsy. He has a big He's growing up on Instagram, but this is what the logo and stuff looks like. And tell him Fanatic Perspective sent you. I'm not even getting paid for that. That's just me for the love of the game. My friend, he did it. I'm proud of him. Somebody I've known since I was 6 years old. One of my best friends, one of my groomsmen, one of my ride or dies, and he's put together a good product. Boss's Ranch. I don't know. I don't think they're still making the ranch anymore. It was a COVID victim, but they still have the pizza. Boss's Pizza is still around. All right, so let's talk Texas here. While we're let me bring this down a little bit so I can see my face better. Playing Cole Hudson at left guard and Connor Robertson at center means Robertson is better and more consistent O-line than either Connor Stroh or Neto. I don't think Robertson is better than either of them. You know, I wonder what they will do coming out of the bye because I haven't been impressed with Connor Stroh, but Connor Robertson. I really got to look at how much we want to take away from that Sam Houston State game, but it's not like Connor Robertson set the world on fire in that game per se. I do think Cole Hudson's better at guard. My thing is, who gives me the best? What group gives me the best comms too? Right? Because when we start doing stunts and all this type of stuff, I don't know. The problem with Stroh is he's limited because he has cement feet. He can play going backwards. He's fine at pass pro, but we are really limited in the run game with him. Here's the other thing. Emmett Mosley might make I like this comment. Guys, one of the biggest reasons people keep asking me, why haven't we seen more screen game at Texas? What's up with our screen game? Why haven't we called it more? Why doesn't it start calling screens? Because you got the linemen have trouble getting out in space. Watch the film. They end up on the ground way too much. And if they end up on the ground and you're trying to run screen, that is a negative play waiting to happen. Number one. Number two, the perimeter blocking by tight ends and receivers has been not good. We tried to run the most basic bubble screen at the end of the Sam Houston State game. And the receiver, the receiver on the perimeter got destroyed. It was Khalil Lockett, and whoever was blocking for him, which was another young boy, missed it. So with DeAndre Moore being back, who's one of your better blockers, I would like to hope that Parker and Wingo can get there with their frames, but they're not great at it yet. I mean, they try, but they'll commit a penalty or do something dumb. But I'd like to think that Emmett Mosley can help that, right? So we can run bubble screen again. Sark's not going to call it if they can't block. That's the reality of the situation. And then if you have a line that struggles to get out in space, then you're not going to see as many halfback screens. I'm only talking about it, Marlon, because your receivers have to be able to block in order for you to run perimeter screens. There's not. That's football 101. So we have to discuss it. If no one's going to block on the perimeter, then you can't throw screens. And the tight ends haven't done a good job either. Deuce Robinson is the truth. He's really good, but that Florida that's interesting timing on the Deuce Robinson one. Do you guys think that he caught that pass in the in the Virginia game? Anyway, we're talking Texas now, but I like Deuce Robinson. Don't get me twisted, but he fumbled the bag in the in that Virginia game because Sheehan Kyler Murray threw him a dot to to extend the game. Um, but yeah, I mean that's why like if you want to run screens, people have to block in space. Period. That is part of the like that's the whole point of it. So if they're not going to block, I can't run it. I can't run those plays. Nick Towson's getting there. Spencer Shannon has been okay. He's not. I wouldn't say he's a very good blocker. There's too much evidence on film of Spencer Shannon getting out leveraged or not blocking anybody. So David, I'll disagree a little bit there. Nick Towson, I love his tenacity. He's going to be a very, very, very good tight end. And Nick Towson's going to be a complete tight end, I think, because he has that mentality. He's also whiffed and missed assignments, but I put that more on him being a freshman. But yeah, that game, what was it? UTEP, where we were trying to run power, and Spencer Shannon's just running downfield and not blocking a soul. That like Jordan Washington has had big issues with that. So yeah. That was Will Randall, brother. That was not Spencer Shannon. You confused you got the wrong white guy. Towson is a YN, but we need more of that energy. Spencer Shannon isn't he from Arizona? That's not Arch's guy was Will Randall. That's the guy with oh boy. Fanatic perspective after dark, folks. It applies to him too. Oh boy. Spencer Shannon from Calabasas, man. I will say this though. I will say this though. Part of the other part of the problem, and maybe David, you can come back with me on this one. You know why they're having trouble finding work? Because we don't communicate well when we run zone schemes in terms of blocking. And I do think to simplify things, we should be running more gap scheme stuff where people don't have to. If you're worried about a gap, you shouldn't be worried about who you're IDing. It should be whoever's in your freaking gap. But when we go zone, that's why people like Jake Majors were so important because they could direct people on who to go get. We don't have that. We've struggled with the comms. That's what I'm saying. When you watch the QB school clip, Marlon knows what I'm talking about. The QB school clip where there was nobody in the A, B, or C gap, and we couldn't run power against UTEP because Spencer Shannon and DJ falls down. Spencer Shannon can't find work, and dude's just crossing his face because he doesn't know who he's supposed to go get. That's a problem. That's a problem. So at least with the center he had before, there wasn't confusion on who you're supposed to go get. Like they literally sometimes run down, but in a gap scheme, it's like, bro, it doesn't matter if that person crosses your. This is where we're running, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I agree with this. I agree with this. I think you have to adjust the scheme to the personnel, and I think we should be more gap. Or I don't know. I'm not an offensive line coach. You would think, you know, at least guys, at least with this group, you would want to lean on people, run a little bit of duo, try to get to the second level, blah blah. I don't know. I don't know. That's why it's like, all right, well, at least if Arch can get going and stuff, we can buy time to figure these things out until we get the right people in there. Because if Arch and the passing game are going and we have quarterback run game for us, which we do with Arch, because what you saw today, bringing this back to what we saw week 5, all of the, to y'all's point, y'all all said this in the chat, all these offenses are flawed. All these offenses are flawed. All of them. Everybody has things that they're either clear weaknesses that they're trying to fix or things that are just flat out we're trying to hide it. We don't have a way to fix this. We just got to avoid it. As long as Auburn is starting Jackson Arnold, they will have problems with the quarterback getting sacked because there's no way they can fix that. You saw they had the same problems week over week. You can't fix that in 1 week. That's impossible. There are certain things you can fix. Like some things like, hey, Arch, what's up with your confidence? What's up? What do we need to get you going? There's certain things you can fix where you know a player is underperforming or drops or just getting, simplifying things so we have better comms to get things out quicker, or if the plays aren't getting in on time. Like I know with the Atlanta Falcons, they just fired, I think it was Ike Hilliard, the receivers coach in the NFL, because the chain of plays was taking too long and they felt like Ike was screwing it up. So they had to fix. Those are things you can fix. But for me, at this point, I don't know where we're going to get to with the offensive line. Maybe that's something they improve over the course of the season. Maybe tight end blocking is something that they improve over the course of the season. But I don't know if that's something that we just, we've just solved that problem, yo, hey, guys. Bro, they can hold nobody. Woo! Y'all brought it today. Y'all brought it like we just played. This chat is like we just played. All of a sudden, everybody. Yo, nothing gets by you guys. Nothing gets by you guys. Somebody says a little quote on the team, y'all. He said, I've never seen a guy with no pancakes. Whew. Nothing gets by you guys. Yes, I agree with that. Let me go back up here to this comment. I've been saying this about Arch. The one thing that I will say with Arch on the field, he has been very good at avoiding sacks. He does have natural pocket awareness and can at least say, you know what? We haven't talked about all the other games yet. No, we need to get to that because I want to. But Arch at least is good enough to either extend, get rid of the ball, or run down the field himself, right? So he's been better. He's been really, really better at that. I mean, the triple coverage one, to be fair, did we see that last week? He did that on third. He did that on fourth down when he should have hit the quick out to Parker. That Sark drew up as a quick beater for him. That was there, and that's when he cut back across the field. Um, I do think that he'll get that habit out of him. I hope. I don't think he. I think Arch is smart enough to know he can't do that in SEC play. I I hope so. I hope that's one of those things where he was just trying to swag on some G5 guys and it backfired. I don't remember him trying to do that shit against Mississippi State last year. I remember against Mississippi State when the play started getting extended, he just looked to run downfield. He wasn't looking to try to throw back across his body or back into coverage and things like that. Now again, that particular play in the UTEP game was fourth down. I was upset because he didn't hit the guy that the play was drawn. That's been more of my frustration with Arch. Even the Ohio State game, when he threw that and he threw a good ball to on the 7 route, kind of a 7 route, but it was post corner to Parker Livingston. That was a difficult catch. He didn't catch it, but he had the inside slant like banger to Wingo, and Sark confirmed that was supposed to be the initial. Reading it correctly, Wingo's it was supposed to go 1-2, but Arch turned it down because you say what you want to. Some people think Caleb Downs would have got there or he would have blasted him, blah, blah, blah. But apparently he turned it down because Caleb Downs was in the window. But when you look at it, he could have fit that ball in there to get it to Wingo where it was supposed to go. But those are the type of things where it's like he's been sometimes a little gun shy and will try a higher level of difficulty throw to the outside. But I haven't seen him just be holding just to do nothing. Yeah, low percentage versus it was a low percent, and he threw a good ball to him, but it was a very low percent. It's a low percentage play at that point, very low percentage. Now, Georgia's secondary is an issue. Georgia's secondary is an issue, and Georgia really misses Jalen Walker. They really miss Michael Williams. Y'all tell me. I know Caden Proctor's Alabama has good tackles. Alabama has good tackles. I did not see Georgia getting pressure. Ty Simpson had a lot of time to work tonight. Part of that, again, going back, I want to give credit to Ty Simpson. Whenever Georgia decided to bring pressure, he had a plan. He communicated with his offensive line. They had their hots ready to go. They were good there. But to me, on just normal passing downs, Ty Simpson seemed to have a lot of time to work. Like there were times where he was able to go outside the pocket and still throw to the sideline and get stuff. So if Archer's going to have that type of time in when we go down there, that's going to be interesting because Georgia. I'm sorry, like they. I mean, look at what was his name, Bernard. Then the other one that was dropping balls, number 1, Ryan Williams had some drops, but he got there. But they had a play where they didn't roll the safety all the way over. I want y'all to do me a favor. Look at the movement of Alabama's receivers. Mm. Bro. You know what? I think Texas. I really do think that we said this chat. Remember this. I said it, y'all said it, we said it. The one thing about what happened at the end of August when we lost was at least our shit got exposed now. I think that play, I think Bama, because Bama did not look like this against Florida State, and they were not perfect tonight. But when they went to Tallahassee, they were a damn mess. And we weren't a mess when we went to Columbus. We lost, and our offense didn't do what they were supposed to do. But we weren't a mess when we went to Columbus. Bama was a mess. People were ready to burn down Kalen DeBoer's house. So I do think after watching today that it may have even been more of a benefit to Texas as to what happened at the end of August to get their minds right then. And I feel like hopefully, and this is where what I don't know, but what I hope, hopefully they're itching to come back and to show that they're buttoned up the way Bama was tonight. I like the way Bama seemed mentally locked in and focused on the road to go and handle their business. Now, I'm going to talk about Oregon, Penn State, because there's a difference there. Oregon also went on the road and won at Happy Valley. But Penn State, there has to be a discussion about James Franklin in top 10 games at this point. I was trying to give him a little bit of a pass and say, oh, a lot of those losses are to Ohio State and Michigan. Nah, bro, there's a problem. There's a problem with you. Because y'all have that fraud at quarterback that people keep saying is the next Josh Allen. The next person that says that needs to have their tongue cut off. Like, it's ridiculous. Talking about he's the next. You spent all that money on receivers, Penn State, and they didn't even get active until they got down by 2 scores. And I give them credit for showing their talent and getting the game to overtime and getting back after it. But like, where the hell was that the first 3 quarters of the game? Bro, it's the 4th quarter. You guys are telling me that Drew Aller is a first-round pick. This guy is all-world talent. I'm looking at his stats. He's 7 for 14 for 61 yards with like 6 minutes left in the game. What's he been doing? Did he take PTO? What's going on? Watch Drew Aller be cold in the NFL. We'll see. Maybe it's James Franklin. I don't think the player's that good. I don't see it. That pick he threw, even first of all, the ball was too low. He showed no ability to just layer the throw. Secondly, the guy still got blasted. Did y'all see that? The receiver still got blasted. And the shit got picked off underneath, bro. That's a horrible read. That means he's not open, bro. If you're trying to layer that, it was the most nastiest into a game I've seen in a minute too. Because Dante, and credit to Dante balled out on the road. Dante actually showed way more. I thought Dante had way more composure for somebody that hasn't played a whole lot of ball since he left UCLA. He'd been sitting at Oregon, developing. Really smart move for his career, not chasing a starting job, but saying, what's the best situation for my career long term? We're serious about quarterback development. Tried to play early at UCLA, didn't work out under Chip. You go to Oregon, you sat behind a grown-up in Dylan Gabriel, learn the offense, learn the system. Good program under Dan Lanning. Now he's taking over. He's way more mature as a player. I'm seeing the Dante Moore that I saw when he came on the scene in 2023, where he was right there with Nico, right there with Arch, right there with Jackson Arnold, right there with all those guys coming out of Detroit, Michigan. That's the Dante Moore we saw tonight. And he was handling, his composure was excellent in that environment. Happy Valley is a tough place to play. Wide out a whole bit. But he did throw the pick on the 2-point. And so I'm like, okay, Penn State, it's an opportunity to win the game. Home, got the ball, and that freaking pick that Aller threw was disgusting. You want to talk about vibes are dead. Mississippi State needed that win today. Did they? Did they need the win? I've been telling y'all Mississippi State is the one that scares me in terms of road games. Because, and I've talked about this on Bleacher Report. I'll say it again if you guys missed that video. I've divided the season for me into 4 quarters. Q1 was Ohio State on its own just because of what we learned about our team. That's the way I think about the quarters. What are we going to learn about our team? And at the end of the quarter, it's like, okay, where are we at? Ohio State's won. We just ended Q2 for me, which was the month of September, all the G5 schools. All right. So those 3 games is Q2. So now we're about to kick off Q3 next week, which is our road warrior period. We are not at DKR until November 1st. So our next 4 games are away from home. So we have Florida, the Swamp. We go to Dallas, OU neutral site, Cotton Bowl. And then we are at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, or whatever order it's in. But at Kentucky doesn't scare me. At Mississippi State, that's going to be a challenge. Tennessee's a good football team. Tennessee's really good. And that game today was really interesting because it was a student-teacher matchup between Lebby and Josh Heupel. You know, obviously where they came from at UCF. But Mississippi State has some freaky athletes on their side. They got some people that we're very familiar with, and Brennan Thompson and Jure Bledsoe and Darian Gillette. And they've got, when I say some freak athletes, they got a corner in Kelly Jones that's like 6'5" that's going to cause problems. They got another corner that's like 6'2". They threw a pick six. Like my thing with Mississippi State is like we've beaten Blake Shapen before, but they threw a really ugly pick that got Tennessee on the board. But that's a tough place to play. Tennessee's good, and they were struggling down there. But it was a good game. It was a good game. Stephen Heason said Mississippi State doesn't scare me. I'm the opposite of you. I'm the opposite of you. I'm not scared of Andy. I'm not. I just feel like when they come to Austin on the 1st, we're going to be itching to play a home game. And I don't know. I just feel like when I watched us play Vanderbilt last year in Nashville, we should have won that game by like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Like we played that game in Vanderbilt against Vanderbilt last year, like we play like A&M played against Auburn today. That was how it was, where we just played dumb. I don't think we're gonna be dumb again. Like Kobe Black gets a pick 6 and Vernon Braun goes hands to the face way after the play. Like way after the play. I don't think we're gonna be that's how Vanderbilt hung in the game. It wasn't because they were doing stuff that like, yeah, you know what? You know why I'm worried about Mississippi State? Because Brendan Thompson can smoke Jalen Gilbo. Let's be honest. Anthony Evans can get behind the defense. Those guys run 4-3, legit. I watch them dudes consistently get behind Tennessee. They consistently got behind Arizona State. And I feel like arching them, I need to see it, arching them in us offense with them damn cowbells can get rattled. It's the great. Now, if Mississippi State was playing here, it's a different story. But in Starkville, it's a dangerous place. That game makes me worried. I'm just telling y'all right now. I know this team. I'm telling y'all right now. Now, if they mature and all of a sudden they're road warriors, like I think like we would like for them to be, then they should look like Ohio State looked today at Washington, where you shut all that down. But Mississippi State can run the ball and they can throw it deep. And exactly, Marlon. Those are the type of teams that have historically given us trouble. Jeff Lebby's beaten us before. Don't y'all forget it. 2023, Dylan Gabriel, 34-30. That was Lebby. Yeah, they play Mississippi State plays A&M next week. Yep. I'm just saying the teams that I don't matchup wise. Lebby had PK in a bind. That's the one person that had PK in a bind. So again, here's the thing: road aura can be established. You know who didn't have road aura before today? Ty Simpson. Now he has road aura. Like it can be established. I do think Shapen will give us opportunities. He will. He will give us opportunities. If Lebby had a better quarterback, they'd be really scary. I hear you, David. I hear you. I think we'll get pressure at times, but Lebby understands how to mitigate the pressure against us. Remember, Lebby's had a lot of success against PK. What do you think will be our easiest road game? Hopefully, it's Florida to get us right. I mean, think about it. We have, honestly, I think it's going to be Kentucky. Just because I don't think Kentucky has nothing like South Carolina is really, and I think South Carolina blew them out today. I'm not like Kentucky. Kentucky just doesn't like their offensive talent got rated, and them dudes went to other schools that aren't doing shit either. Yeah, I think Kentucky would be the easiest. Now Kentucky's gonna be physical; they'll fight. Florida's gonna be interesting because the defense is gonna be Florida's defense is gonna be still gonna be tough, and they'll fight. But I could see the game in the swamp getting frustrating for Florida because they don't do anything on offense. And one of the things we've been really good at, Texas has, and I'm encouraged by this, is field position because of our special teams and our defense. So I do think Texas is going to be should be getting favorable field position down there, just like we got in Columbus. Remember, Texas, we look where we were starting our drives from it, even at Ohio State, guys. We were living around midfield. That happens with Florida. It's just going to be too many opportunities. Now, if you want to really put some doubt into Florida and get them, this is what I would like to see. I'd like to see Texas go into Florida and play the way that Notre Dame played going into Arkansas with CJ Carr, where they just left no doubt. They came out there and they scored on their first 4 or 5. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go to Florida and put up 56 points. What I'm saying is the precision that Notre Dame played with this morning was impressive. They went to Arkansas and forced the Arkansas fans to turn against their own. I think that could happen at Florida because they're already frustrated. They don't want to lose 4 games in a row, and they're on the brink. So that would be my energy. Try to come out there and just be sharp the way Notre Dame was today. Notre Dame may have gotten Sam Pittman fired. Arkansas is cheeks. The difference is Arkansas's defense is terrible. Florida's defense is still solid. So it's going to be a harder task. It's a harder task. But if you can get the game to a point where Florida is very uncomfortable, then they may be out on the coach at that point. Sam Pittman might be cooked. I mean, he's cooked, but he might be cooked like Gundy cooked. He might be cooked like Gundy cooked. Gaddis, the Mississippi State team that played last year is a totally different roster. Levy rehauled that whole thing. It's like a bunch of dudes from last year. It's like all the people. Like, think about it this way: Darian Gillette's over there. We love Darian Gillette, but he had the injury coming out of high school. Never got healthy. Now he's healthy. Like, we never really saw Jere Bledsoe get the opportunity. Blah blah blah. Now he's getting an opportunity. If you're an A&M fan, they have Malik Silla over there, who's finally got they have all these random guys that for whatever reason it didn't work at their original school. That they got a Tennessee guy, they got a Georgia guy, they got multiple Texas guys, they got multiple A&M guys. It's an interesting group over there. Because after that, we get to prepare for. I'm gonna end. I'm gonna say 2 points and then wrap up. So I'm gonna say this about OU because I have not spoken on the John Mateer thing publicly. And then talk about a couple games and get out of here. From the perspective of Texas, when it comes to the matter of OU, too many people are focusing on the wrong thing. If I'm Texas, you prepare and you assume that John Mateer is playing. It's very simple. Because the keys, whether Michael Hawkins is in the game or John Mateer in the game, they don't change for the defense. Because they're both similar types of quarterbacks. Mateer, it's his system. With Ben Arbuckle, he's more familiar. But in terms of what they're asked to do as runners, as dual threat quarterbacks, as what? Quarterback draw, extend the play, roll right, sound familiar? The keys are going to be the same. So you just prepare for the better guy. Where Texas has had problems historically is when you have two quarterbacks that are of different skill sets. For example, the SEC championship game. That threw off our keys because we went from Carson Beck to Gunnar Stockton. Those are two different people. That is not the case with OU. Okay? John Mateer, if you prep for John Mateer, then you're already prepared for Michael Hawkins. That's the point. They're not going to do anything vastly different with Michael Hawkins that you're not prepared to already do for John Mateer. Here's the second point to that, and why I think the focus is in the wrong place. With John Mateer, the reason why he's gotten all this hype is because, yeah, he's a baller, and I like him. But he's literally been a one-man band for that offense. They've done nothing outside of him. Nothing. Think about it. They played, OU's had two wars. Auburn, Michigan. Michigan, they beat, 24-13? Auburn, they beat 24-17. The point is this. In both of those games, They scored 24 points against those defenses. Why are we acting like this isn't even that's not near the proficiency that Dylan Gabriel was operating at when we were going against Levy in 2023. No. You scored 24 points on Auburn, you scored 24 points on Michigan. And they fought like hell to get 24. The focus of the game is Arch and this offense versus OU in that defensive front. That's the focus of the game. John Mateer, all that tells me if he's truly healthy and all that, they have a floor offensively. And that floor is somewhere in the mid 20, or a ceiling, I should say. Excuse me. They have a ceiling offensively. That ceiling is somewhere in the mid 20s. They can't run the ball outside of the quarterback. They can't. They have Jaron Canick playing tight end, catching some balls. It's been a cool story. Deion Burks. They're going to get Gibson back. Cool. But the ceiling is in the mid-20s. With John Mateer playing superhero ball, it's taken him to get to 24. Okay? If you tell me before the game that OU is going to score 24 points in Dallas, we should be anticipating to win, y'all. Or else what are we doing with the ball? Unless we're planning on just going in there and trying to win 10-7 or win 16-10 like Auburn A&M today. What's the plan? OU's defense is absolutely legit, which is why Sark, Flood, and the continuity that we have against BB's front, they should have the best plan for pressure because they're familiar with it. Right. And that's them scoring 24 on those defenses. We feel like we have a better defense than Auburn and Michigan, right? Right? I'm just saying that's the ceiling. What if the ceiling is 24? John Mateer is now coming back off surgery. He's a little rusty. Let's say that goes down to 17 or 20 points. What are we talking about? And here's the other thing, Stephen Houston. It doesn't matter if Michael Hawk is the worst player. All I'm talking about is defensively. Those of you who know ball know what I'm talking about. I for example. It's just having the keys ready to go. Do you understand what you're doing based upon the personnel that's on the field? You're not going into a game saying, I'm not going to play the pass against this guy because he's a worse passer. No. It's the style. Do we have walls set up so that we know this guy likes to extend the play? He likes to hold the ball. We want to keep him in this area. We want to funnel him this way, right? Auburn actually did a very good job of this, of creating funnels. That's how you play somebody like that. But the key in Dallas is going to be Texas's offense and how we function versus OU's defense. That's the key to the game. Now, if Texas defense wants to really pop off and create turnovers and get non-offensive touchdowns and things like that, but I do think we have more than enough personnel to handle ourselves regardless of the quarterback. Look, OU fans don't like to show vulnerability, so they're going to gas up whoever's playing and whatever the scenario is to make them feel good at night. But the reality of the situation is, even with a healthy John Mateer, they have been limited offensively. They are winning these games with their defense, and he's been making timely plays, which is why he deserved to be a Heisman candidate. I'm not trying to poo-poo him. But even against the Illinois States of the world, they put up 35 points. He played the entire game. And they'll tell you, oh, he threw for 392 yards. They put up 35 points against Illinois State. They've been struggling to score. They cannot run the ball outside of the quarterback. And if y'all want to show up there with somebody 12 days removed from having surgery on your thumb and all this type of stuff, and you want to run them 20 times and ask them to throw 30 times with the same hand, good luck. against this defense. If that's what you want to do it. But to me, Texas should have no problem. You just game plan for Mateer. If Michael Hawkins runs out there, none of the keys should change. They're going to ask him to do the same thing. The only time Texas has ever had problems is when one dude is totally different from a different dude. When Gunnar Stockton came in the SEC championship game, we didn't have keys for him and him running around. We didn't prep for that. We prepped for Carson Beck. That's totally different. So I just wanted to highlight that and make that clear on, for me as a fan, as long as we're prepared for Mateer, I think my team can win. Now, if they want to be naive and come into the game and think that he's not going to play and then he play, then that's bad prep, that's bad coaching, and we probably don't deserve to win, right? But yeah. Yeah, the goal line stuff, we'll see how we handle that moving forward. And that's the thing. I've said this too, and I've shared this before. The two teams, I'll share it again, before I go. OU schedule. Because our schedule is not crazy. It's not. The two teams we play next have ridiculous schedules to finish the season. I would argue that they have the hardest schedules of any remaining teams, which is OU and Florida. Okay. Look at OU's schedule here. Y'all tell me how they gonna navigate all this and trying to play somebody injured. We're gonna move up. We're not gonna be number 10 by Monday. We're gonna move up, probably 9 or 8. South Carolina just won tonight, blew out Kentucky. Ole Miss is definitely moving up after beating LSU. Then you go at Tennessee. They're going to move up. They just got a big win at Mississippi State. Then you go to Bama. I was told that they have a guaranteed win against Missouri, according to Jay. So I'm going to hold them to that, even though Missouri's ranked. And they're going to have to deal with Ahmad Hardy and Bo Pribolo. Missouri has people over there. And then you finish your season with LSU. Now, LSU might be the one where it's like, So the rest of the schedule is hell after Kent State. That's their SEC schedule. So yeah. LSU's defense stood on business today. Unfortunately, their offense, I thought the Nuss bus was going to get going. They did not get going. That was indeed a lie. Now, if you want to see stressful, go look at Florida's schedule. Florida's schedule's crazy. Like, if you look at Florida's schedule, where is it? Florida's screwed. Like Florida screwed. This is nasty work. They ain't surviving this. They ain't surviving this. So, yeah, these teams, Compare that to our schedule's manageable compared to these guys. Come on now. Ole Miss, Ole Miss was impressive today though. I like the. Is it me or is that the Trinidad Chambliss kid from like D2 or D3? Is he not a better quarterback than like all these other guys playing quarterback out here? And he's the backup. Who is that guy? This Trinidad guy. He's good. Or am I tripping? That guy's good. They found one. Ole Miss did. Gold all of my chain. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Um, yeah, that guy's good. They got one over there, Ole Miss, and I think I think I think I think I think LSU's in trouble a little bit. I know Caden Durham didn't play today, but what has happened to Garrett Nussmeier? What has happened to Garrett Nussmeier? And their scheme is their scheme doesn't align with their personnel. They got these guys running these shallow crossers. What happened to the LSU that was vertical shots with Brian Thomas and the late Kyron Lacey and Malik Neighbors and all these guys? They still got dudes over there at receiver. He's too old. They got Nuss wearing 18 and he's playing his worst ball. Does he need to go back to number 13? Do they need to take that 18 off his jersey? Is that the problem? And I liked how Nuss played week one against Clemson. I thought he was, he took, he took what the defense gave him, all that. But like now it's like, damn, dog, you ain't taking no shots. Y'all look scared. And Brian Kelly's crashing out on his defensive coordinator who's keeping him in the game. Clemson's terrible. 100% fraud vibes. Dabo the scammer. Firefest University. Clemson Tigers. Absolute frauds. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point on Mateer. And Bama's got to be behind FSU. I would say for now, sure. But by the end of the season, if you're vastly different than when we played each other in week one, I know head to head should matter. But like at some point, it's like, dog, we're not even the same squads anymore. And y'all are clearly worse. But I do agree with you. I do agree with you. Like Bama can't move all the way. They can't pass Florida State just yet. But I do think that the top four are going to be pretty obvious. I think Ohio State is the clear number one. I think Oregon is the clear number two. After that, where do you go? Ole Miss. So Ole Miss jump up to number three. Or no, number three would be Miami. So then it'd be Miami. It'd be number three would be Miami, and then Ole Miss. Or Miami, OU. Does OU go up to four? Because where was OU? Like seven? Y'all let me know how the AP poll should look. I can't put Aggie at 5 after that was I so they were at Aggie was at 9, right? I would have Aggie at like 6 or 7 with everything that's transpired. I would definitely I agree with your top 4. I think I would have okay, I would have Ohio State, Oregon, Miami. I guess OU would be 4 and then Ole Miss. I'll give OU 4. Or do you dock OU because the quarterback's hurt? I don't know. But OU does have two big wins. So yeah, I would go Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, OU, Ole Miss. That'd be my top 5. A&M would be like 6 or 7. And then Texas would be like 7 or 8, right? We're 10 right now. We'd be right behind A&M. I don't see why we would move down. And then now you have to do the people that lost. Like, where does Georgia fall? Does Georgia fall? Because Georgia does have a win over Tennessee. So does Georgia still fall in front of Texas because of the Tennessee win? So maybe Georgia's like 7 and Texas is like 8. Texas is easily the top one loss team. I don't think you can say that because Georgia has a win over Tennessee. But Tennessee just Mississippi State's good. That's a good win. I'm trying to tell you, Mississippi State is good. Y'all gonna find out when we play Mississippi State. I don't. I'm done trying to convince people that I'm not saying Mississippi State is like top 25 team. Like they're going to be a bowl team. They're a good football team. That's going to be a tough game. That's a good football team. To me, I'm not docking Tennessee for winning in overtime against at Mississippi State. That's a place where you go at this point with how they play. You're just happy you get out of there with a win. Ole Miss is definitely going to have the biggest jump. I have Ole Miss in the top 5. I have Ole Miss in the top 5. Beavos has Ohio State, Oregon, Miami. Okay, so we had the same top 4. I have Ole Miss at 5. You have Aggie at 5. So we have Ole Miss and Aggie flopped. It looks like. Why is Penn State? Why do you have Penn State above Georgia? Just out of curiosity. Rankings don't matter yet. No, they don't. Y'all are absolutely right. They don't matter yet. Eventually, they will. But we're just for the sake of tracking. But Bevo, why do you have Penn State over Georgia? Who is Penn State beat? And they lost at home. Every season is 100% its own. Facts. Facts. They can't be above Bama. Penn State can't be above Bama. I don't know. LSU to me would drop because their wins have lost the pizzazz, right? Like if you told LSU before the season they'd have wins at Clemson and Florida, they'd be ecstatic. But now what do those wins mean? No, I have Oregon over Miami. For me. That's me. I have Oregon over Miami. I have Miami at 3. If you want to have Miami at 2, that that's fine. They play Florida State next week, correct? So that would be a big win. They have the Notre Dame win. I just think that what Oregon did today, going to Penn State, a team that was probably supposed to be in the national championship game, all things considered. Um, I agree FSU has to drop, but yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. Because there's other teams you got to still filter in there too. But I see your logic. I see what he's saying right now. He's saying right now Bama can't be above FSU, but if Bama continues to go, like eventually that won't matter as much. It's kind of like I think 3 or 4 years ago when Oregon beat Ohio State at Ohio State when they had what was his name? Whenever that was, when the quarterback Anthony, whatever his name was, the transfer from Boston College, but eventually they still Ohio State still got ranked ahead of them because over time it was like clearly they've improved, they've beaten all these other teams. Y'all are still sitting on the same win from September. It's not September anymore. Like shit changes. Shit changes. Like where I would say Texas is, I would hope that Texas is a different team come the 1st of October than we were August 30th. If not, we gonna fall, right? But like I think we've probably found ourselves. We're a different team. But I also agree with Bevo, like head to heads matter. That's also your part of your resume too. That's the complexity of ranking and what happens at the end of the season, and why you need more games and more data and things of that sort to play out, and more people to play each other, because eventually it can work itself out. Yeah, Bama was down there because they hadn't beaten anybody yet. Wisconsin does not count. Wisconsin is awful. Wisconsin is awful. They lost to Maryland by 3 scores. So Bama beating the shit out of Wisconsin, I didn't care about that. What Bama did today, that's a win. And how they look too. Eye test matters too. Eye test matters too. Because if a lot of these teams are showing weak, mediocre quarterback play, and your quarterback comes out there looking good and throwing the ball around, all that, then it's gonna make a difference. That's why we need Arch to look good. If Arch looks good, a good quarterback will give you the benefit of the doubt when it comes to eye tests, even over sometimes if you're defensively led. That's why Ohio State people feel strong about Ohio State, because Julian Sand looks good, and he hasn't looked like a young quarterback at all. What happened to Tyler Van Dyke? I think he works for State Farm. Either that or Enterprise. Is he still playing football? Yeah. So, hey, right now, like think about the Heisman race, right? Like coming into this week, Mendoza was number one. Um, maybe I think Dante Moore and Ty Simpson made some real headway there. Um, oh, he's at hold on. Tyler Van Dyke is still in college. No way. I'm sorry. I said State Farm. I thought I saw him on LinkedIn. Um, There's no way that guy's still in college. What? All right, I gotta go. This motherfucker's still in college. Yo, he's at SMU. I didn't realize he was behind Jennings. This is ridiculous, yo. He's been in college for 6 years. Get these guys out the damn sport, man. This is bullshit. He said SMU. Oh my god. He's in my city. He's in my city. I thought I saw him at the airport in the Emerald Club section. Oh no. Oh no. What? Tyler Van Dyke is still in college? That's crazy. That's the type of stuff I was talking about with Chandler Morris. Like, what are you guys hanging around for? This guy looks like my boss. I don't have ops. Look at this guy. Doesn't he look like this is crazy. This guy looks like my boss, man. I mean, come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. This is not a college student. Come on, bruh. He looks like the guy I'm getting ready to turn in my performance review into tomorrow. No wonder he went to SMU. Makes all the sense in the world now. Going to be in charge of M&As by no time. Mergers and acquisitions, baby. All right, I gotta run. This is ridiculous. Tyler Van Dyke's still in college. That's my cue to bounce. Y'all go buy my boy's product, Jolly Q. Hit him on Instagram. I'll have a link to his shop online, or just follow Jolly Q on Instagram. It's my boy. If you're looking for a good dry rub for your wings, your steaks, brisket, whatever, this is some good stuff. This Pine Street blend. Go check out Jolly Q. I used it tonight. It was fantastic. And yeah, I'm gonna be out here this week as we prep for Florida. Got a game week coming up. So enjoy the bye, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Remember, horns always up. Hook 'em. Tyler Van Dyke. Who would have thought?